Hello, this is Greater Gospel Temple and Inspiration of God Ministries right here on the World Wide Web. It is a wonderful, wonderful day, and it is cold here in Dallas, Texas today. It was 30 degrees a few minutes ago, and then tonight we're expecting like 17 degrees. This is December the 31st in the year 2017. This is the last day of this calendar year 2017, and I posted this morning on Facebook, let's make the last day of 2017 the best day of 2017. And I want to say Happy New Year to everyone, Happy New Year. And I pray and trust God for you having a wonderful, wonderful 2018. And I want to encourage you to let me hear from you in 2018. Even more of you, let me hear from you and give me comments, you give me compliments, you can give me suggestions, okay? I would love to hear from you. 214-403-7563, ggtchurch66 at yahoo.com. I will be happy to hear from you. We're talking in Ecclesiastes today. Ecclesiastes, the first and the second chapter. And my topic for today is there's nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. And when we see these new fashions come out and these fads and all of that's been done before. And if the world lasts, it'll be done again. It really will. And in the decades that God has blessed me to be here, and I'm sure that those of you who've been here for decades have seen things go, and they cycle back in, then they cycle out, and then we see people, oh, this is the style for this year, and this is a new thing. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. So the preacher, he's going to talk about that today through me. There's nothing new under the sun. So I'm going to go to the first chapter and start there. Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. And we know Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived. Solomon. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king of Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh. But the earth abideth forever. One generation passes away, and another one cometh. But the earth abideth forever. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That hath been. The eye, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come after. This is amazing. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven, This sore travail hath God given to the sons of men to be exercised therewith. And what he's saying here, he said, all of the things, he said, this is a preacher talking to him. He said he's wise, he sought out all the things, he studied things, he's researched, and this is what he's come to. He said, things are vanity, no matter what it is. He said, absolute futility, says the teacher, absolute futility. Everything is futile. What does a person gain for all his efforts that he labors at under the sun? What does he gain? He said, a generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, panting. It returns to the place where it rises over and over again. Then gusting to the south, turning to the north, turning and turning goes the wind, and the wind returns in its cycles. All the streams flow to the sea, but the sea is never full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. They flow back and forth, back and forth. The sea is never full. All the streams flow to the sea, but the sea is never full. And that where it floweth there again. Back and forth, back and forth. All things are wearisome, more than anyone can say. This is his opinion. This is his point of view on what he studied, what he's seen in his lifetime. He said the eye is not satisfied by seeing, or the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. He said there is nothing new under the sun. People just get so excited. Oh, look at this. Look what I've done. And they have a right to be excited. And I'm excited with them, depending on what it is. But there is nothing new under the sun. It's just cycled back in. Cycled itself back in. And it might be a little different, a teeny bit different, but it's cycled. They might call it something different, but there's nothing new under the sun. Can one say about anything, look, this is new? He said it has already existed in the ages before us. He said there is no remembrance of those who come before us and those who will come after. There will also be no remembrance by those who follow them. No remembrance. No remembrance. We might hear of our ancestors, some of our ancestors that we didn't know. We cannot remember them ourselves. We can hear about them, but we don't remember them. Okay? Now, talking about, we're going back and we're going to say, go to this. He said, there's nothing new under the sun. He says, there's so a travail God hath given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. He said, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. He said, this sore travail hath God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. He said, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. He said, that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I communed with mine own heart, saying, lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. He said, yeah, he said, my heart has had a great experience of wisdom and knowledge. He said, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. He said, I perceived that this is also vexation of spirit. He said, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increases sorrow. So after all the studying, all that he's done, and he still comes back to his opinion, his point of view, that it's all futile, it's all vanity. Nothing's new. He said the limitations of wisdom. He said, I, the teacher, have been king over Israel in Jerusalem. He said, I applied my mind to examine and explore through wisdom all that is done under the heaven. He said God has given people this miserable task to keep them occupied. He said, I've seen all the things that are done under the sun and have found everything to be futile, a pursuit of the wind, like you're chasing the wind, and we don't know where the wind is coming from. We can feel it blow, but we don't know where it's going, where it came from, where it's going. And he says, just like chasing the wind. He said, what is crooked can't be straightened out. And he said, what's lacking cannot be counted. So if we're lacking something, we still can't count that because we don't have it. Okay? He said, I said to myself, see, I have amassed wisdom far beyond all those who were over Jerusalem before me, and my mind has thoroughly grasped wisdom and knowledge. He said, I applied my mind to know wisdom and knowledge, madness and folly. I learned that this too is a pursuit of the wind. For with much wisdom is much sorrow. As knowledge increases, grief increases. The more you know, the more you have to be concerned about and to worry about. And these things grieve you and they make you sad. Many of those things because you know so much. And then we'll go to the second chapter. We're just going to do 2 chapters today. And I am going to do Ecclesiastes. Starting today, we'll go through the chapter of Ecclesiastes because this is really interesting. It's not my first time reading it, but this is what I feel that the Spirit is telling me to do. He said, I said in mine heart, go to now, I will prove thee with mirth, therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, this also is vanity. And he said, I said to myself, go ahead. I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy what is good. And he said, but then it all turned out to be futile again. It all turned around as vanity. He said, I said of laughter, it is mad, and of mirth, M-I-R-T-H, what doeth it? And then he said, about laughter, he said, it's madness. And without pleasure, he said, what does it accomplish? What does it? He said, I sought in mine heart to give myself unto wine, yet acquainting mine heart with wisdom, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was that good for the sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. Now, he said, I've tried this. I tried to see what it means. He said, I explored with my mind the pool of wine on my body. He tried wine. He said, my mind still guided me with wisdom and how to grasp folly until I could see what is good for people to do under the sun during the few days of their lives. So he's really tested it out, okay? He said, I made me great works. I builded me houses, I planted me vineyards, I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit. He said, I made me pools of water to water therewith the wind that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens and had servants born in my house. Also, I had great possessions of great and small cattle above all that were in Jerusalem before me. He said, I gathered me also silver and gold and the peculiar treasure of kings and of the provinces. I get singers and women singers, men singers, and the delights of the sons of men as musical instruments, and that of all sorts. He said, so I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained in me. He said, and whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy. He said, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor. He said, then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit, profit, under the sun. And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do that cometh after the king? Even that which hath done or hath been already done. My goodness. He said, then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. He said, the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event happeneth to them all. Then said I in my heart, as it happeneth to the fool, so it happeneth even to me. And why was I then more wise? He said, then I said in my heart that this is vanity. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever, seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten. And how dieth the wise man? As the fool. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yeah, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. He said, and who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? He said, yet shall we have rule over all, yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. Therefore I went about to cause my heart to despair of all the labor which I took under the sun. He said, for there is a man whose labor is in wisdom, and in knowledge, and in equity. Yet to a man that hath not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This also is vanity and a great evil. He said, for what hath man of all his labor, and of the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? He said, for all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief, yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This also is vanity. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I say, that it was from the hand of God. For who can eat, or who else can hasten hereunto more than I? He said, for God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. My goodness, he has some great thoughts here, and it's some great information, and we see this happening each and every day. We labor and we toil, and there's so many people that just heap and gather and heap, and they plan for the far future, and then don't live or are not able to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and somebody else has charge over what they have done. And he says here in this Christian Standard, he said, and I said to myself, this is futile. He said, so I said to myself, what happens to the fool will also happen to me. See, all he's done, all of his labor and everything, he worked hard, and he stored up kept things for himself, and he realized that the same thing that's going to happen to the fool is going to happen to me. He said, and I realized that there is an advantage to wisdom over folly, like the advantage over light over darkness. He said, the wise person has eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. He said, yet I also know that one fate comes to them both. So I said to myself, what happens to the fool will also happen to me. So why then have I been overly wise? And I said to myself that this is also futile. He said, for just like the fool, there is no lasting remembrance of the wise, since in the days to come both will be forgotten. My goodness. And he said, how is it that the wise person dies just like the fool? So therefore, I hated life, because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me, for everything is futile and a pursuit of the wind. Now we're talking about the emptiness of the work, and he goes on to say, I hated all my work that I labored under the sun, because I must leave it to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool? Yet he will take over all my work that I labored at skillfully under the sun. He said, this too is futile. So I began to give myself over to despair concerning all my work that I had labored at under the sun. He said, so when there is a person whose work was done with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, and he must give his portion to a person who has not worked for it, this is too futile, he said, and it's a great wrong. So he's distressed now in this part. He said, I'm distressed over this. I've worked hard. I've studied. I've learned so many things, and I've accumulated so many things. And to think that I am going to have to leave this world and somebody else takes it over, and they didn't even labor for it. So what does a person get with all his work and all his efforts that he labors at under the sun? For all his days are filled with grief, and his occupation is sorrowful. Even at night his mind does not rest. This too is futile. He said it's all vanity. Vanity of vanities. He said there is nothing better, and this part I like, there is nothing better for a person than to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. And I don't think it's anything better. So we work and we accumulate. We should enjoy it. Don't be so busy working to gather things up and accumulate more that you don't even get a chance to enjoy what you have. And so he's saying there is nothing better for a person than to eat, drink, and enjoy his work. He said, I've seen that even this is from God's hand, because who can eat and who can enjoy life apart from him? Who can enjoy your life for you? Nobody can enjoy your life for you. Nobody can enjoy your labor for you like you can enjoy your labor. So take time out and enjoy what you have now. Take time out to be happy. Take time out to enjoy the labors of your hand, because we don't know what the next second will be. He said, for to the person who is pleasing in his sight, he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner, he gives a task of gathering and accumulating in order to give to the one who is pleasing in God's sight. So what he's saying here, he said the sinner work and work and work. He's not thinking about God, not thinking about what God wants, not thinking about pleasing God. And he works and works and works, and then God takes it and gives it to the person who's pleasing in his sight. So hey, hold on. If you feel like everything's against you and you're serving God, you're doing what you believe God wants you to do, and you're seeking him every day, you've consecrated your life, and it seems that things are just not working out for you, hold on. He'll take that the sinner has, and he will give it to you. So just hold on, okay? Hold on just a little while longer. Everything will be all right. Don't give up, because God loves you. He wants you to be happy, Because we love him, he'll give us the desires of our hearts. We ask him, not doubting, okay? Yes, as he was saying, the same thing that's going to happen to the fool is going to happen to me. He said, but then God wants me to enjoy what the works of my hands and the labors, okay? So why go out of here not enjoying what God has given you? All right? Stay strong, be strong, and remember that there is hope. It might look bleak, dark, dreary right now, but there is hope for you because God is going to turn this around for your good. So just hold on. You don't have to want what somebody else's, because there's enough in this world for you to get your own and not even infringe on another person. All right, there's enough in this world for us to have our own. We don't have to covet something that someone else has, and don't live your life to the point where you regret, I don't have this and they got all this and I don't understand why they get all this stuff. Don't even worry about that, because God has enough that he can give you yours and they can have theirs too. But remember, if you live for God, do good, do the best you can, then God is going to bless you according to your faith and your obedience to him. So this too is futile, he said. He said, accumulate in order to give to the one who is pleasing in God's sight. That's what the sinner does. He said, this too is futile in the pursuit of the wind. He said, everything is just like he's going round and round. The wind is blowing here, and the wind is blowing there, and it's coming back, and it's going again, and everything. But just hold on. Everything is going to be all right. That's Ecclesiastes, the first and the second verse. He says, vanity of vanities. He said, but I want you to take this with you. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight. Remember that. Wisdom and knowledge and joy. He giveth to a man that is good in his sight. There's wisdom, knowledge, and joy. Remember that, okay? Remember that. I love you. It's a wonderful day. This is December the 31st in the year 2017. This is the last day of this calendar year, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. And I do love you. 214-403-7563 GGT Church 66 at